Hello all you lovely people out there, and welcome to a new video by me, Jeffrey, at Boy Reads World. It is currently 12 degrees outside and it has been raining non-stop for about 2 weeks now, so I thought I'd do a spring book haul cause it seems like the weather for it. Anyway, I've come prepared. I've behaved quite good over the past few months. I've not bought that many books. I have 10 to show to you, I think, so I'll get on with it. The first one is one that is quite applicable to the weather today, and that's I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is a YA book. I don't read that much YA, but this spoke to me. It's about a twin, Noah and Jude, and something happens in their life, and before that tragedy that strikes them, they are like two peas in a pot, like most twins, I guess. But after that tragedy, they ignore each other, they hardly talk to each other. So yeah, I'm quite interested in what the tragedy is and how their relationship evolves from being so close to practically strangers. The second book that I would like to talk to you about is The Clasp by Sloane Crossley. I first noticed this on SCS Reads channel, who is Nnenna. She definitely loved this book, I think. And it's about college friends who meet each other at the wedding like 10 years after they've been out of college. And it's about how their lives didn't go as they had hoped to. And it's also about a clasp which goes missing at the wedding, I think, and how they are united again to find that clasp, I think in southern France, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I've already started reading this one. It has just introduced the three main characters, so yeah, I'm quite chuffed to read this one. Is chuffed a word? I don't know. The third one that I bought over the past few months is My Name is Lucy Barton by Elizabeth Strout. This is one that I have actually read a couple of days ago, so you'll see me talking about this in my June wrap-up. It's quite a small book. It's not even 200 pages, I think, but you know, it packs quite a punch because it's about a daughter has to go into hospital because she has an appendicitis, but after the surgery she still suffers from a high fever, so she has to stay in the hospital for much longer than she had anticipated. And one morning she wakes up and her mother sits at her bed, which is quite unusual because she hasn't talked to her parents for years. And mother and the daughter reconnect and they talk about the things that the daughter always wanted to ask her mother. It was quite a heartfelt book, I found, but more on that at the end of the month. Then there's the book that I bought a couple of months ago in a Prague bookstore, in the Globe bookstore and cafe. So if you ever want to go to Prague, definitely visit that one. And that's The Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I have to be honest, I solely bought this based on the title because I think you could consider this a modern classic. I don't know much about this one, only that it's about a family and childhood and growing up in Brooklyn in the early 20th century. So, you know, excited to read this one. Then there's one that I've seen going around BookTube for quite a while now, and I know that it's Kristina's favorite book over at Vienna Awaits Books, and that's Burial Rites. This is about the last woman that has been sentenced to death in Iceland, and before her death sentence she gets assigned a family where she has to stay awaiting her execution, I think. One of the things that spoke to me about this book is how those who have read it always describe how Iceland is described in this, how the atmosphere is so on point, and you know, it's about Iceland. What more do you want? Going a bit further south to Berlin, and that's with Black Deutschland by Darrell Pickney. This is a book that has been published only recently, I think, and it has been compared to Christopher Isherwood because this is also about a gay man going to Berlin and discovering himself and his sexuality and having lots of sexual adventures, I think. I haven't read this one yet. I'm really excited to read this because the books of Christopher Isherwood were really good, so if this has been compared to that, you can't go wrong, I think. Then for a lighter read, which I picked up recently, and that's A Year of Marvellous Ways by Sarah Winman. This is about an 89-year-old who encounters a soldier one day, and the story goes on from there. I mostly bought this one for the summer because, you know, when I go traveling, I mostly want a lighter read, and you know, you can't keep reading John Green, I guess. Well, you can, but it's not healthy. Then the last fiction book that I bought over the past few months is Lila by Marillyn Robinson. I mostly bought this one because it was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize last year. And, you know, it's Marillyn Robinson. When you listen to a podcast like the Book Riot podcast, it's always about how Marillyn Robinson deserves every award and every accolade that you can get. So, you know, I want to have a chance to discover the genius of Marillyn Robinson, so I hope I won't be disappointed. Then I have a quaint little book, and that's No Two Persons Ever Read the Same Book, which has amazing quotes like, "Writing is like prostitution. First you do it for love, and then for a few close friends, and then for money." And then there's also a genius quote like, "Outside the dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside the dog, it's too dark to read," which is definitely true. So I got this was a very late birthday present because my birthday was in February and I got this like at the beginning of May, but you know, for such books I can wait. And speaking of birthdays, this was actually a birthday present for someone else, but that someone else already had the book, so I decided to keep it for myself, and that's Vivian Maier, Street Photographer, which just has the most amazing pictures like of people in New York in the 1950s and 1960s. You know, it's a whole different world, a world we really can't imagine right now. And Vivian Maier was actually an amateur photographer, and she never published any of her work. She didn't even develop her negatives, so she only took pictures and then, you know, deposited the rolls and never took a look at them again. And it was only in the early 2000s, I think, that a guy discovered a box of 100,000 of negatives from her on a flea market and decided to develop them, and you know, this is the result. So it's weird to think about someone taking pictures and never having the urge to develop them to know what the end result was, so which is quite refreshing from our modern society. So those were the 10 books that I accumulated in the spring. If any of you have read the book that I've just shown, please drop a line below to say what you've thought of them and perhaps what book I should start with first. So, you know, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!